This line right here causes more confusion on a settlement statement than anything else in real estate. Let me tell you why. Hey, my name is Zach Otten, and today I want to go over real estate agent compensation. So this is the number that my seller saw on their settlement statement. And the general consumer doesn't really understand where this money goes to. Lots of times they assume it just goes straight into my pocketbook. So today I just wanted to make an educational video on where this exactly goes and how an agent gets paid and how what they actually take home at the end of the day. All right, so the point of this video is to be educational, not to argue if real estate agents get paid too much. However, I want to educate the general public on what the real estate agent actually takes home at the end of the day, beyond what they see on the settlement statement, which is this large number at the top. So in this particular case, the seller paid my brokerage $22,000 to represent them on the sale of their house. Now, brokerages, or most real estate agents, are 1099s. There's a few that are self-employed, that are W-2, but most are 1099 self-employed individuals. So to begin with, we have 15% that gets paid out of this $22,000 that gets paid to Real, the brokerage that I'm currently with. Now, this number does cap at a certain point where that line item goes away. There's still a few $100s worth of fees that I pay or expenses that I pay to the brokerage, but this does eventually go away after I pay them $12,000 a year. However, for this example, we're going to keep it in because it gives perspective on how that works. Then from this $22,000, I take 25% of this $22,000 and put it in a savings account that I use to pay taxes quarterly as a self-employed individual. So in this instance, it's $5,500. So that's for both federal and Colorado taxes, as well as Social Security and Medicare, which is 15.3% that we pay as a self-employed individual to the government for those things. Whereas a typical W-2 employee, they only pay half of that, and their employer pays the other half on their behalf. So, and then business expenses is roughly 35%. So this includes gas, health insurance for the family, car insurance, vehicle maintenance, tires, MLS access, all the things that help run our business averages out to be about 35% on each transaction. So when you add up these expenses, that's about $16,500. So my net at the take home, if you can see, hopefully the camera light isn't just making this difficult to see, but the net at the end of the day from this $22,000 check to Real is $5,500 that I eventually take home to provide for the family. So hopefully this was a little bit insightful, but now we'll go over what a W-2 employee looks like. All right, so now let's take a closer look at the W-2 side. Obviously, it's much harder to put a figure on this side, but the point is, if you were to, once you get your check as a W-2 employee, half of Social Security and Medicare have been withheld already, taxes have been withheld, you have no business expenses. A lot of people get paid vacation. Where they go on vacation, they still get their consistent pay with their typically bi-weekly, and then also your benefits. So obviously healthcare and retirement match are two of the bigger ones on the W-2 side. So if the point is I'm trying to make is if all these things were not essentially accounted for in your paycheck, then your paycheck by your W-2 employee would be much, much larger, similar to what a real estate agent gets on their settlement statement. You would just have to budget to take these things out to pay them off when the time comes. So real estate agents don't get paid until the closing table. And so the risk and reward is very different. So you can have the opportunity to make a much higher salary as a self-employed individual, but you also have a lot more risk on that side as well. So I hope this video was informative and helpful. And again, it's not to have sympathy for real estate agents. It's more to be an educational video to help show why their settlement statement is somewhat misleading on what a real estate agent actually takes home. So I hope you guys have a great day.